welcome back to another episode of 4D Podcast. So this episode today is going to be my solo episode talking about my experience and perspective with bringing someone home for the first time. And so if you haven't caught up on our previous 2 episodes of the season, this would be a good time to stop and go back and watch our first episode where Jada talks about bringing her fiance home for the first time. And then the second episode where Jay gets into meeting her boyfriends, friends, and family. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. So I had told y'all during the first episode that I could not remember the details surrounding me bringing home my ex for the first time. And while I try to sit back and think about it, I honestly can't remember too much more than what I told y'all in episode 1. Essentially, my ex, he and I have probably been dating for about, I would say like 6 months or so. And nobody knew about him at this point. Just my friends knew about him, but nobody else knew about him. And it was getting close to my college graduation. I knew I wanted him to be there, but I didn't want that to be the setting where he first met my family. So I had him come over to the house one time when I went home to visit with my family. And normally when I would go home from college to visit, my family would cook. I want to say this was Memorial Weekend. I do remember it being like a 3-day weekend. So he came over, we ate, my parents got to know him, he got to know my family, my dad, my mom, my brother, and it went over really, really well. One of the things about my ex is that he was always very cool, very comfortable, and got along really well with pretty much anybody. So it was honestly, I was a whole lot more nervous than the situation warranted, but I mean, anybody would have felt that way, given it was their first time doing that. And so I feel like one of the things that we didn't really get into on the pod was advice to offer somebody who's bringing someone home for the first time. I mean, we did offer some tips saying that like there are topics to avoid, or maybe to like make sure that your partner is, briefed beforehand about the family members they'll be meeting. And even with Jay's episode talking about how she met friends first before family, I definitely think that when it gets to a point when you do want to meet your significant other's family, or you want your family to meet your significant other, it's a conversation that should be had first. No one likes to be, sprung into something like, hey, my family's having a get together this weekend, you should come. I feel like a lot of people probably would be like, maybe if I had a little bit more time to prepare. So definitely have a conversation, with your partner, letting them know that you're ready to start to take that next step and get to know everyone's family. Another thing, too, that I will offer as a piece of advice is to not rush it either. I know some people may be more comfortable meeting family earlier on than others, but it's okay if you and your partner are on different timelines. Maybe you meet your significant other's family, but you feel like it's too soon for them to meet yours. That's okay. It doesn't have to happen at the same time. And it definitely doesn't have to be a tit for tat kind of thing where it's like, okay, we do yours and then the next day we go to mine. It's kind of a thing where you really do want to move at everyone's pace so that way both of y'all are comfortable. And also, sometimes, too, it's good to have the conversation with your family ahead of time, too, that you're bringing somebody over. I don't feel on my end that I have to be concerned about my family so much and their reactions to someone that I am bringing home, but there may be, someone that has a different relationship with their family where it's like, let me let them know to be on their best behavior while I'm bringing somebody around. And then also consider the settings too. Do you want your significant other to meet specific family members, like the ones you're closest to first, and then bring them into the broader family setting? Are they comfortable with that, or are they okay with coming right over to the family barbecue and meeting the whole family? All of these things are kind of like good conversations to have when it comes to bringing someone home for the first time. Ultimately, with my ex, after he met my parents for the first time, he pretty much was coming over regularly whenever I was home and after I moved back home. And I had actually met his mom first before he met my family, but it was kind of like not intentional. It wasn't really planned. It just kind of happened. And then I met his grandma, and then he met my family. I think it went in that order. I can't remember exactly, but after that, he quickly met all my cousins, and he had known my friends, and And I don't remember at what point he met them specifically. But one thing I will say is that now that I am years past that and not currently dating, but in the space where I'm transitioning back into dating and possibly looking for something serious, I know I probably will be bringing somebody home for real within the next couple years. And I probably will be more nervous for this person to meet my friends than I would my family, because my homegirls do not play. They will put him under a microscope, and they will also let him know we do not play with our friends, so don't play with her. And I love them for that, but they can be a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. But I don't want to hold y'all too long. That is the end of my spiel, my episode. I hope y'all enjoyed. Please give me some feedback. Let us know how we've been doing with our season 1 episodes thus far. For wherever you're listening at, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you can leave us a comment or rating, or always slide into our DMs on our socials. We are active on Instagram, TikTok, and we are also present on Twitter, or X, at 4DeepPod, FOURDEEPPOD. All right, y'all, that's it. And we will see y'all for the next episode. Bye.